Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right, and now the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details. So, this power station has actually become a regular part of my camping and emergency kit, and I wanted to share how it feels in day-to-day use. I'm coming at this as someone who values real-world usefulness over fancy marketing, and this unit mostly delivers. The battery is built with LiFePO 4 cells and sits at about 2 kilowatt hours of capacity. That's plenty of juice for a weekend projects, a fridge, some lights, and a few smaller appliances without having to constantly think about topping up. One of the big selling points is the pure power available. This power station can push up to 2600 watts and handle a surge well beyond that. I've run a couple of mid-sized appliances at the same time without drama. The inverter efficiency at practical loads is surprisingly solid, around 92% when I was pulling 650 watts. The standby draw is impressively low too, about 10 watts, which means less waste when nothing is actively running. The wall charger from the mains is reasonably efficient as well, and the internal charging circuitry has power factor correction, which you can appreciate when you're trying to wring every last bit of efficiency out of the grid. If you're like me, and you pair this with solar, there are a few quirks to know. It can accept up to 1000 watts of solar input, but the solar side is limited to a 60-volt maximum. In real life, with a solid sun day, I saw around 800 watts of input because of roof angle, which is still plenty to keep the unit topped up during the day. What surprised me a bit is that there isn't a built-in feature to set maximum and minimum state of charge while charging from solar. In other words, you can't specify a target, so see like 85% or similar to extend cycle life, something I've seen in competing models. BLUETTI has been listening though, and I did see at least one firmware fix addressing solar input behavior, which shows they're paying attention. I'd love to see a future firmware that adds user-defined state of charge limits for solar charging, because that could really stretch the longevity of the battery. The app experience is another win. The official BLUETTI app lets you monitor activity, adjust settings, and even run an energy calculator to plan how much you need to store. The hardware meters are accurate, and the display keeps you informed about capacity and load. It's also reassuring to know customer support is responsive when needed. In terms of form factor and everyday practicality, this power station feels like a grab-and-go option rather than something you'd leave permanently hooked up at home. It weighs about 53 pounds, which is lighter than some competitors, and easier to maneuver for a weekend warrior or a tailgater. The lack of expandability and a few extra 12-volt outputs are minor gripes, but for many folks, this size and power footprint hits a sweet spot. Overall, this power station is a strong contender for mid-sized portable power. It delivers solid performance, genuine reliability, and a lot of real-world utility. A few firmware tweaks could push it from very good to excellent, but as it stands, it's one of the best options out there for portable backup and off-grid adventures.